It's been several years since our lakes and reservoirs were this high heading into summer.
The full lake is going to be welcoming to many people who have been coming up here for many years.
We'll update you on reservoir levels and what else you can expect out on the water this summer. With summer comes wildfires. We'll preview our impending fire season and how crews are preparing.
If tranquility were a spot, it would be Mosspay Falls.
Unfortunately, the route to the falls is illegal. We'll show you how one local town is working to build a safe path for the public. Also, the Thunderbirds will be flying into Southern Oregon again this summer for the first time in 17 years. We'll tell you when and where you can see them in Klamath Falls this July. Those stories and much more on the StormTracker 12 Summer Forecast.
Live, local, late breaking. The StormTracker 12 Summer Forecast Special.
Summer is almost here, and the StormTracker 12 weather team is making sure you're prepared. Thanks for joining us for the StormTracker 12 Summer Forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Hoffman.
And I'm Meteorologist Sara. Over the next half an hour, we're going to break down your current and future weather conditions and how they could impact your summer plans and, of course, this upcoming fire season.
We're here at Emigrant Lake, where capacity is nearly full ahead of the busy summer season.
And it's not the only lake that's near capacity. Let's go ahead and take a look at your current reservoir levels across the region.
And thanks to our active winter, as you can see, many of our lakes are nearly full. Jackson County Parks is planning for a busy summer. One of the most beloved summer activities in Southern Oregon involves summer recreation on the water. And with most of our lakes near or at capacity, it's expected to be a busy one. Since February, Steve Lambert has been preparing for this upcoming season.
It's going to be nostalgic for a lot of people who have been coming here for many years. This is the first year since 2017 that the lake is this full.
At Howard Prairie Lake, after 3 years of construction, a new marina has made its debut.
We have a new marina that you can see behind me. The sailboats are coming out. They're going to be having regattas out here.
Emigrant Lake has made a lot of improvements for the upcoming season. They've added concessions for snacks and repaved campgrounds. And beginning this Memorial Day, you'll be able to rent stand-up paddle boards and kayak. Crater Lake has a healthy snowpack, which is great news for Lost Creek Lake. High water levels are expected through the summer.
People they've been dried up the past few years with low lake levels, so they're excited to see the lakes up.
With more people expected at our lakes in the warmer months ahead, Lambert has some advice.
Plan ahead, go to our website, jacksoncountyparks.com, make your camping reservation, buy your season pass. It'll just make it that much easier.
And we're looking good as we head into summer when it comes to the drought. We're drought-free throughout Southern Oregon and Northern California. But it was like this last year at this time. Notice, though, the drought expanded a bit and worsened as we went through the summer months. Likely we'll see that again. But we do enter summer with a pretty good snowpack. This was back in April, early April, at the peak of the snowpack. But notice much of the west has seen a pretty quick melt off, but we're still looking pretty good, still above average as we enter summer for Southern Oregon and Northern California.
Oregon Department of Forestry Southwest will officially begin fire season on June 1st. With that date around the corner, ODF is busy preparing for what this season could bring. ODF is working with partner agencies to get ready for hot and windy weather we could experience this summer. ODF's firefighters and dispatchers have started training for the upcoming season, but Natalie Weber stressed the importance of local homeowners joining in the season's preparations.
We can't come onto your private property and make it fire ready. That responsibility lies with our landowners, and so we really appreciate it when they do partner with us in that effort to be ready for fire season and have that work done ahead of time.
Weather can play a role in both the ignition and the spread of wildfires. I spoke to Natalie Weber with ODF and Tom Wright with the National Weather Service on how incident meteorologists and firefighters work together to put out wildfires.
There's what they call the fire behavior triangle on fires, and that is the three things that most affect fire behavior, and that's fuels, topography, and weather.
Climate forecasts, severe weather alerts, and warnings are a few things you may know the National Weather Service for. During the summer, they have additional roles you might not know about.
They'll actually set up mobile weather stations around the fire and on peak so that they can get real-time data for where our firefighters are working, and it's a huge resource.
Wildfires can change in an instant based off weather factors like wind, heat, and humidity. Other factors like thunderstorms are additional dangers to firefighters and communities. Incident meteorologists forecast these elements in a specific area to help keep these fires from getting bigger.
We'll get an order and we head right out as soon as we have that order in hand. Most of the time we're within a few hours trying to get out on those fires. We want to get there as quickly as possible to help out as much as we can.
Weather balloons like the one Tom is holding are crucial for real-time weather data and help create extremely detailed forecasts. Supercomputers at the National Weather Service gather the data from the balloon to include in new model outputs. These help create a better fire forecast for the days ahead.
You go around the corner and the weather's different, so even though we forecast for this area, we've got to go out there and see how the local weather is actually behaving. There's no substitute for being out there in the weather for trying to predict the weather there.
It's been shown smoke from wildfires can impact wine production, a big business here in Southern Oregon. Some research has been done over the years, especially after the 2020 wildfires in the state. Low-level smoke later in the growing season ahead of harvest can allow the grapes to take up small amounts of compounds from the smoke. These compounds can be brought out in the fermentation process and can give the wine a gritty character, known as smoke taint. A bipartisan bill in Congress introduced earlier this spring hopes to boost research into this problem.
Having this bill from the Smoke Exposure Research Act at the federal level will just help catapult us into a place in which we're much more aware, much more able to make recommendations, and hopefully in the future find ways in which we can better deal with these issues when they do occur.
The Smoke Exposure Research Act would authorize $32.5 million annually over the next 5-year Farm Bill cycle to better understand the impacts of prolonged smoke exposure and provide fair insurance products for growers. We'll keep you posted as this bill works through Congress. Summer is prime flying season for the 173rd Fighter Wing stationed at Kingsley Field in Klamath Falls. Here, pilots are trained to be the best air-to-air combat pilots in the world. Captain Gavin O'Boyle is an instructor pilot with the 173rd Fighter Wing and says Southern Oregon is fantastic for training, in part due to its open expanses of airspace they use off the Southern Oregon coast, Eastern Oregon, and also just south of the base. But also, it's the weather.
The weather out here is absolutely fantastic. 300 or so days of VMC, visual meteorological conditions a year, nicer, sunnier days. That really, again, helps with maximizing our fuel and our training sets for the day and getting the most out of what we're teaching the students.
O'Boyle says the F-15 is an all-weather capable fighter, but for training purposes, they'll delay training flights during times of snow, low clouds, and dense smoke around the base. Also, students are learning a lot of the basics of weather, including how pressure changes with fronts and storm systems, cloud formation, and the development of wind, wind shear, and how wind interacts with terrain. This summer, the 173rd Fighter Wing is thanking the community for all their support with a free to the public 2-day air show at Kingsley Field. The Wings and Eagles Air Show will be this July 19th and the 20th and will feature some very special guests. The Wings and Eagles Air Show will feature a stacked lineup of performers, including 2 United States Air Force demonstration teams, the F-16 Thunderbirds and the F-35A2 Lightning demo team.
It's an extremely big deal to have the Thunderbirds and the F-35 demo team. Generally, those 2 demo teams is reserved for much larger communities, much larger air shows. So for us to be able to get both of those on board for this year is absolutely huge. Just for those 2, I'd recommend that anyone and everyone comes out to check out this show.
Captain Gavin O'Boyle, the project officer for the air show, says there will also be plenty to see on the ground.
We've also got a vast amount of military, warbird, and civilian statics that will be set up on the ramp with the ability to climb in some, check out the cockpit of others, or walk around the rest, in addition to plenty of other activities that will be going on.
Food vendors will be on site, but parking will be off site with a free shuttle. All the details on parking, security, and a full list of performers can be found on our website, kdrv.com. Mosspay Falls in Dunsmuir draws thousands of visitors annually and has only grown in popularity over the years with stunning photos and videos like this all over social media. The problem is the path to see these stunning falls happens to be illegal, but the city is hoping to change that and build a safe trail to Mosspay Falls for the public.
If tranquility were a spot, it would be Mosspay Falls.
The only way to experience that tranquility is hiking along a busy 1-mile stretch of Union Pacific Railroad. Accessing Mosspay Falls this way is not only illegal, but dangerous. There's been 2 incidents in which people were struck by trains over the years, and there's been another safety concern.
We just had a derailment in the neighborhood here, and cars came right off the tracks in the spot where people access the falls.
Scott Silber lives near where people begin their hike to the falls along the railroad tracks, and the increase in visitors is taking its toll on the neighborhood.
People park in the street and they narrow the street down so emergency vehicles probably could not get past them. They park on dry grass, which could cause a fire, which is a real concern in this area.
Community concerns and that derailment back in March have put a new focus on getting a safer route to the falls for the city of Dunsmuir.
We are committed financially to making this happen, but it's going to have to be through partnerships. We're a small city. We're willing to take on the ultimate responsibility for the trail, and that's something that Union Pacific has responded positively to.
Matthew Bryan is a Dunsmuir City Councilman and says the city has been working with the railroad to build a safe public trail that would cross the Sacramento River with a bridge at the end of Hedge Creek Falls Trail.
They've tentatively agreed to our concept plan, and I'm working with them currently to try and get some more support from their side.
City Manager Dustin Reeves says the hope is to get a more concrete agreement and plan in place with Union Pacific later this summer. Union Pacific Railroad said in a statement they will continue to work closely with the city to find a solution to everyone's concerns and will be attending those upcoming planning meetings.
They're recognizing they've got a safety issue. We want to be partners in helping them solve that safety issue, and we want to provide safe access to a natural wonder that we're happy to call, part of our home.
This will be the last summer to access the waters of Crater Lake for boaters and swimmers through the Cleetwood Cove Trail. This most popular trail up at Crater Lake National Park will be inaccessible after the summer of 2025. According to the National Park, the Cleetwood Cove Trail and Marina will be undergoing a complex construction project to rehabilitate the trail and related infrastructure to address critical safety issues while ensuring continued protection of the lake and surrounding environment. The project will begin in the summer of 2026 and may take 2 or more years to complete due to the very short construction season at Crater Lake.
Rivers to oceans, water safety is a must in Southern Oregon and Northern California. I spoke with Curry County Aquatic Safety on how people can stay safe this summer and how they're helping with that.
And later on the StormTracker 12 summer forecast, will we have another scorching hot summer with triple-digit heat in the Rogue Valley? The summer forecast is still ahead.
But first, it's time for some trivia. Speaking of last year's toasty summers, how many days did Medford hit 100 degrees or hotter last year? A, 15, B, 20, C, 23, or D, 25? I'll have the answer when we return.